Hey guys, we are being asked if these two lines, these are equations that represent lines, right? If they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, okay? What we need to know to decide this is we need to know the slope of each of these lines. Now the forms they're in right now, we can't tell, but if we get them into slope-intercept form, the slope is very easy to find, okay? So my goal right now is just to get each of these to y equals something with the x and all the things, okay? So I'm trying to get y alone, okay? So what I'm going to do on this one to get y alone is I'm going to add 12 because that'll make that go away, right? But if I add it to this side of the equation, I need to add it to the other side. So I'm going to add it to this side, okay? So when I do that, I'm going to write the x first. So I'm going to do 30x plus 12 equals 6y, okay? We're getting closer, but I don't want that 6 there with the y, okay? Those are being multiplied, so to undo that, I'm going to divide by 6. If I do it to this side, I got to do it to the other side, okay? To the whole thing, divide by 6, okay? That simplifies down to 1, so I have 1y, but we usually just write it as y, okay? Equals, now when I have these being added on top, which aren't like terms, so I can't add them. Another way we use the distributive property is with division. So I can divide this one by 6 and this one by 6, okay? So I'm going to have 30x divided by 6 plus 12 divided by 6, okay? I know it looks a little scary. Don't worry, it's not going to look as scary in just a second. So 30 divided by 6 gives me 5, right? So I'm left with 5, and there's still the x. Plus 12 over 6 gives me 2. 12 divided by 6 is 2 equals y. Okay, so there is one of my lines, but bear with me. Just because it's more how we're used to seeing it, I'm just going to write the y first. It's still the same, right? Y equals 5x plus 2. Okay, so there is one of my lines in slope-intercept form. Okay, now let's do the other one. There's fractions, but don't worry, we're actually going to get rid of them, okay? So one way, which it doesn't work all the time if you have different fractions and things, but sometimes we can easily get rid of the fractions, okay? These are both over a 2. So watch what happens if I multiply this side by 2. And then if I multiply one side of the equal sign by 2, I have to multiply the other side, right? To keep my equation balanced, okay? All right, now watch what happens. I can't combine these, right? Because they're not like terms. But this is the distributive property. I distribute the 2 in. So I multiply the 2 by this and by this, okay? Now when I have something on top and bottom being multiplied, those can cancel, right? So 2 times 5 over 2, the 2's cancel, and I'm just left with 5x, right? Oh my gosh. Now when I do 2 times a negative 1/2, the 2's canceled, and I'm left with negative 1y, or I can just write it as negative y, right? Look at that. And that equals 6 times 2 gives me 12. Okay, not so bad anymore. Okay, we're still trying to get y alone. So I'm going to get rid of this 5x. I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Always keeping things balanced. Okay. So then I have negative y equals, I'm going to write the x first again, just because we're getting into slope-intercept form. Plus 12, negative 5x plus 12. Okay. Now you might be tempted to be like, sweet, I'm done. But we don't want our y to be negative. Okay. So to get rid of a negative, we either multiply or divide by a negative 1. Which just switches the signs of everything, right? So I'm multiplying both sides by negative 1. Negative 1 times a negative y gives me a positive y, okay? And then this negative 1 gets distributed in and changes their signs. So I end up with 5x minus 12, okay? All right, there are my two lines in slope-intercept form. Right? Okay. So when I'm in slope-intercept form, the number in front of the x is my slope. So this one's slope is 5. And this one's slope is also 5. Okay, so when two lines are parallel, their slopes are the same. So these two lines, their slope is the same. So these two are going to be parallel. Okay. Okay, so these two lines are parallel. If you need a perpendicular example, I will link one in the corner, but I'll just give you a little heads up. For if we wanted a line that was perpendicular to a line that had a slope of 5, a line that was perpendicular, its slope would be -1/5. Okay, again, I'll link an example in the corner, but that's just a heads up for you. You flip it, the reciprocal, and change the sign. Okay, all right, hopefully that made sense. Oh, and neither just means if they have different slopes, meaning they're just two lines that cross each other at some point. Okay, all right, hopefully that made sense. Check out those other videos if you need to, and if this helped you, if you could hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, bye.